Welcome back to the Garifuna Experience Podcast. I'm your host, José Francisco Ávila. Did you know that the first recording of Garifuna music ever made was in 1952? It's a remarkable piece of history, and today we are going to dive deep into how organizations like UNESCO and the Smithsonian have played a vital role in the recognition, preservation, and enduring legacy of Garifuna music on the global stage. The genesis of world music appreciation, UNESCO's vision, the very foundation of understanding global music traditions, particularly non-European ones, wasn't always as inclusive as it is today. Historically, many non-European musical forms were often dismissed or misunderstood. The UNESCO collection of traditional music is a direct outcome of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization's UNESCO aim to foster lasting peace built on mutual understanding and the intellectual and moral solidarity of humankind. Their mission is to combat the causes of war, which includes the ignorance of each other's ways and lives, and the propagation of the doctrine of the inequality of men and races. UNESCO pursues this goal through international collaboration, promoting popular education, spreading knowledge, and safeguarding the world's inheritance of books, works of art, and monuments of history and science. What was truly groundbreaking in UNESCO's constitution, adopted in 1945, was its recognition of cultural diversity. It emphasized the necessity of mutual comprehension and the idea that all cultures are part of a common human inheritance. With this, UNESCO explicitly rejected the previously dominant and still widespread belief that European culture was inherently superior and destined to replace all other cultures. This earlier way of thinking had, unfortunately, justified colonial and nationalistic policies that often destroyed other cultures in the name of evolution and progress. In the world of music, understanding the achievements of other cultures was incredibly difficult before the advent of sound recording. Pre-20th century publications often describe non-European music as noisy, chaotic, and out of tune. Such observations were reinforced by the prevailing thought that European classical music was the most sophisticated form, supposedly in line with the laws of nature and God. This conviction was first challenged in the mid-19th century. Scholars began proving that the pitches, scales, and harmonies of classical music weren't divinely given, but rather social conventions. Another challenge to this early prejudice came with the opportunity, thanks to steamships, to stage performances of exotic ensembles in the West. But most significantly, the invention of sound recording made it possible for the first time in history to truly immerse oneself in unfamiliar music. It allowed for comparison, measurement, and analysis using objective data instead of transitory impressions. Around 1900, sound recording finally enabled the first comparative musicologists to begin mapping the world's musical diversity, driven by the genuine enthusiasm for the treasures they discovered and a growing fear that these music traditions will soon disappear. These comparative musicologists actively founded audio archives and specialized study centers. They also work to engage a larger public by giving lectures and broadcasts, organizing performances and exhibitions, and exploring ways to publish their recording. Hornbostel's demonstration collection, a set of wax cylinders with short samples of various musical styles, was a pioneering attempt to publish recordings to pique the interest in music cultures beyond one's own. The record industry operated on a global scale from its very beginning. While commercial recordings were manufactured worldwide, they were often hardly available outside of the music's original community, which was where the target audience lived. A dramatic change in how music was consumed contributed to the popularization of non-European music after World War II. With the jazz, folk, and pop music boom, records became the main medium for music listening. New songs and genres were no longer popularized primarily through live performances, instruments, or scores, but found their public through recordings. In this evolving landscape, a niche market for world music records developed. Specialized record companies like Folkways Records emerged, and larger record companies started their own ethnic and folk music series, such as Columbia's World Library Folk and Primitive Music Series. Unlike before World War II, these records were often specifically published for a European audience, and ironically, were sometimes difficult to find in the very regions where the music originated. The UNESCO collection of traditional music stands as one of the earliest achievements of UNESCO's program for safeguarding and revitalizing intangible cultural heritage. It became, as intended, a demonstration of the world's shared musical heritage and remains an important tool for anyone seeking to acquaint themselves with the rich diversity of global music. The Smithsonian's enduring commitment to Garifuna music. Here in the United States, the Smithsonian Institution has played a critical role in documenting, preserving, and sharing the rich musical heritage of the Garifuna people. Smithsonian Folkways, a nonprofit record label, is deeply committed to supporting cultural diversity and understanding through the documentation and dissemination of sound. The label firmly believes that musical and cultural diversity enriches lives globally and strives to strengthen connections to cultural heritage. A truly significant milestone of Garifuna music preservation is the Black Carobs of Honduras, produced by Doris Stone in 1952. This album is recognized as the first recording of Garifuna music ever made, a groundbreaking achievement born from Stone's fieldwork in Trujillo and Travesía, Honduras. Smithsonian Folkways continued its advocacy for Garifuna music with releases like Traditional Music of the Garifuna, Black Carobs of Belize, recorded and produced by Carol and Travis Jenkins in 1960. This album features a fascinating blend of instrumental and choral pieces reflecting the linguistic diversity of the Garifuna people. Other notable releases include Dabuya Barugu, Inside the Temples, Sacred Music of the Garifuna of Belize, a collection of sacred music from a 2-week ceremonial fest. The Dabuyaba is the sacred Garifuna temple where traditional Dugu, or the veneration of ancestor spirits ceremonies, are performed. We also have Heartbeat in the Music, featuring the band Chatouye, formed by Garifuna musicians living in Los Angeles. These recordings are more than just albums. They are vital historical documents that preserve the unique musical traditions of the Garifuna people, reflecting their profound African Caribbean indigenous heritage. They are essential in maintaining the community's cultural integrity for generations to come. Andy Palacio, a UNESCO Artist for Peace and Garifuna champion. On October 2, 2007, the Director General of UNESCO, Koichiro Matsuura, designated the celebrated Garifuna musician and singer Andy Palacio a UNESCO Artist for Peace. He was the first Caribbean and Central American artist to receive such a designation, placing him among a small elite of artists in the Western Hemisphere honored this way, alongside names like Gilberto Gil, Tania Libertad, Patricia Velázquez, Celine Dion, and the Venezuelan Children's Symphonic Orchestra. In 2007, Andy Palacio and Ivan Duran were jointly awarded the WOMEX Award at the World Music Expo in Seville, Spain. This prestigious award recognized their significant contributions to Garifuna culture and music, particularly through the critically acclaimed album, Watina. The WOMEX Award is presented annually to individuals or organizations that represent the best of the world music community, according to World Music Central. The award ceremony for Palacio and Duran took place at the Al-Andalus Theater, where they also performed with the Garifuna Collective. The Watina album was further recognized as the #1 world music album in 2007 by World Music Charts Europe DJs. In his acceptance speech, Andy Palacio powerfully highlighted the importance of Garifuna culture, stating, "The true heroes behind my music are really those first Garifuna fighters who, in the 18th century, on the island of Urume, St. Vincent, stood up against slavery, colonization, and cultural domination, choosing to keep their identity and remain the Garifuna nation. Many, including Paramount Chief Joseph Chatouillet, paid the ultimate price." He continued. "Then came those who survived that genocide and were forcibly relocated to the Caribbean coast of Central America." Tragically, Andy Palacio passed away on January 19, 2008. On January 23, 2008, the Director General of UNESCO, Koichiro Matsuura, paid tribute to Andy, declaring, "I wish to pay tribute to Andy Palacio, an exceptional musician and supporter of UNESCO's ideal as artist for peace." He continued, "Andy Palacio chose to sing in Garifuna, a language at the crossroads of several linguistic legacies, which was proclaimed masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity in 2001. He thus worked for intangible heritage, which is particularly dear to us. His premature death is an immense loss for Belizean culture and for all those who are open to the diversity of the world's music." He added, "UNESCO's large family of Artists for Peace loses one of its members who since October 2007 had put his talent and reputation at the service of our organization. Masterpiece of the Oral and Intangible Heritage of Humanity Proclamation." Imagine a moment when the world truly recognizes the invaluable living essence of a culture. That moment arrived on May 18, 2001, when the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, made history. For the very first time, UNESCO proclaimed 19 of the world's most remarkable examples of oral and intangible heritage as masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. These were selected for their outstanding universal value, crucially because they face the risk of disappearing. And here's where the Garifuna story takes center stage. Our very own Garifuna language, dance, and music were among those declared masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. This wasn't just an award. It was a powerful call to action. The proclamation emphasized the urgent need to protect this endangered heritage, our cultural spaces, our popular and traditional expressions, and to preserve the rich tapestry of global cultural diversity. The core goals were clear: to safeguard and ensure the continued vibrancy and transmission of our heritage, to raise global awareness, to share and celebrate Garifuna intangible cultural heritage, and to foster dialogue and respect for all cultural expressions. This global recognition also brought a vital responsibility closer to home. During the Regional Forum on the Promotion and Safeguarding of the Garifuna Intangible Heritage for Sustainable Development, held in Livingston, Guatemala, from September 19 to the 21st, 2005, the Garifuna Coalition USA Inc. was officially designated as a key partner. We were entrusted with a significant role to be the lead organization responsible for safeguarding, preserving, and revitalizing Garifuna culture right here in the United States. This mandate underscores the crucial role our community plays in the broader international effort. Understanding intangible heritage, the core of our identity. So, what exactly is this oral and intangible heritage that UNESCO seeks to protect? International experts convened by UNESCO define it as people's learned processes along with the knowledge, skills, and creativity that inform and are developed by them, products they create, and the resources, spaces, and other aspects of social and natural context necessary to their sustainability. These processes provide living communities a sense of continuity with previous generations and are important to cultural identity, as well as to the safeguarding of cultural diversity and creativity of humanity. In simpler terms, is the living, breathing heart of a culture, the traditions, skills, and knowledge passed down through generations. Why safeguard our living heritage? Why is this global recognition and subsequent safeguarding so critical? The answer lies in the profound importance to cultural identity, creativity, and the preservation of global diversity. Our oral and intangible heritage plays an essential role in national and international development, fostering tolerance and harmonious interaction between cultures. However, in our then rapidly globalizing world, many forms of this cultural heritage faced grave threats. They were in danger of disappearing, threatened by cultural standardization, armed conflict, the often unintended impact of tourism, unchecked industrialization, the urban migration of the youth, and even environmental degradation. These challenges highlight the urgency of UNESCO's objectives for the proclamation, raising awareness to recognize the vital importance of oral and intangible heritage and the urgent need to safeguard and revitalize it. Taking stock to evaluate and document the world's oral and intangible heritage, encouraging countries to establish national inventories and implement legal and administrative protections, promoting participation to actively involve traditional artists and local creators in identifying and revitalizing their intangible heritage. The proclamation is a call to action for governments, non-governmental organizations, and local communities to identify, safeguard, revitalize, and promote their oral and intangible heritage. It also encourages individuals, groups, and institutions to contribute to its management, preservation, protection, and promotion. It's a collective responsibility. And that gracefully wraps up another episode of the Garifuna Experience podcast. Today, we delve into UNESCO's world of music and Garifuna music recognition, a powerful story of cultural recognition, preservation, and the enduring legacy of Garifuna music and culture on the global stage, showcasing how Garifunas are driving prosperity, power, and progress. Thank you for listening, and remember, the future of the Garifuna people is in our hands, and we are driving it forward. Until next time, stay united, stay proud, Sungube Lida Aba. Ayo. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate, and review the Garifuna Experience podcast wherever you listen.